The edge of extinction. The sky above Nova Haven burned crimson as dawn broke over the settlement. Commander Ilara Voss stared through the cracked view screen of the defense center, her eyes reflecting the fires that consumed the Eastern District. 5 days of relentless attacks had reduced the once thriving colony to ruins. The Kavek warships hung in the atmosphere like obsidian shards, their weapons primed to finish what they had started. Status report, Ilara said, her voice steady despite the exhaustion gnawing at her bones. Technical Officer Marcus Chen looked up from his console, dark circles ringing his eyes. Main power grid at 14%. Northern and eastern shield generators completely offline. Western grid failing. Casualty count at 73 confirmed dead, over 200 wounded. Ilara closed her eyes briefly, allowing herself one moment of grief before the commander in her took over again. And the quantum relay. Operational, but barely, Marcus replied. The buffer's degrading. We might get one transmission through before it burns out completely. One is all we need. Ilara straightened her uniform jacket, a habit from her days in Earth's unified defense force, before Nova Haven declared independence 12 years ago. Prepare the distress signal. Dr. Sophia Reed entered the command center, medical kit slung across her shoulder. Blood, not all of it human, stained her once white coat. Commander, we need to evacuate the medical bay. The structural integrity is compromised, and if they hit that section again. Do it. Ilara nodded. Take them to the underground shelters. Daniel, can you spare anyone to help? Daniel Ortega, the colony's chief engineer, wiped grime from his face. I'll send 2 teams. But Commander, those shelters weren't designed for long-term occupation. Life support systems will start failing after 72 hours. On the main screen, another Kavek landing craft descended toward the settlement, its sleek, chitinous hull reflecting the flames below. Each craft carried warriors that moved with unnatural speed and precision. Tall, armored figures with 4 arms and compound eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence. They're toying with us, Ilara said quietly. They could have wiped us out on the first day. Why don't they? Asked Marcus. Because they want us to suffer, Ilara replied. They want anyone who finds what's left of Nova Haven to know what happens when you defy the Kavek dominion. The room fell silent. Everyone knew their situation was hopeless. Nova Haven had declared independence from Earth's oversight years ago. When the first Kavek ships appeared at the edge of their system, they had no military alliances, no defense treaties to invoke. They were alone. The message is ready, Marcus said. Ilara stepped to the console and took a deep breath. She activated the recorder. This is Commander Ilara Voss of Nova Haven Colony. We are under attack by the Kavek Dominion. Our defenses are failing. We have civilians, including children. The Kavek have ignored all attempts at surrender or negotiation. They mean to eradicate us as a warning to other independent colonies. She paused, gathering her thoughts. We don't expect rescue. Earth forces couldn't reach us in time, even if you were willing to try. I send this message only so someone knows what happened here, so someone remembers us. She nodded to Marcus, who initiated the transmission through the quantum relay. The device sparked and smoked as it pushed the message through subspace, faster than light itself. 14 light-years away, in a classified installation hidden beneath Europa's icy crust, a terminal chimed. The message appeared on a screen where it should not have been possible to receive it. Captain Xavier Reeves was reviewing mission parameters when his second-in-command entered the secure briefing room. Sir, we've received a quantum transmission from Nova Haven. Xavier frowned. Nova Haven. That's outside our jurisdiction. They went independent years ago. Yes, sir, but I think you should see this. Xavier watched Ilara's message, his weathered face hardening with each word. When it ended, he stood silently for a long moment. Get me the Phantom Division commanders, all of them. Sir, we have standing orders not to intervene in independent colony affairs. The diplomatic corps was explicit. "I don't give a damn what the diplomats said." Xavier cut in. "Those are our people out there. The Kavek have dozens of warships in that system. We have 5. Xavier's eyes narrowed. 5 ships that officially don't exist. 5 ships with technology the Kavek have never encountered. He pulled up a star chart of the Nova Haven system. "Prepare for departure in 4 hours. Sir, this could start a war." Xavier looked at the frozen image of Ilara Voss on the screen. "No," he said quietly. "This is how we prevent one from reaching Earth." He straightened. "Alert the crews. The Phantom Division is moving out." On Nova Haven, the Chavek ships began their final approach. Ilara watched through the viewport as the largest vessel positioned itself above the colony center. "Everyone to the shelters," she ordered. "We hold as long as we can." No one was coming to save them, but 14 light years away, Earth's most feared fleet was preparing to prove her wrong. The command center of the Phantom Division hummed with urgent activity. Captain Xavier Reeves stood at the strategic display, his face illuminated by the holographic projections. 5 ship captains joined him, some in person, others as secure holograms from their vessels. "We launch in 3 hours, Xavier said, his deep voice cutting through the murmur of conversation. "This mission is strictly off-record. Anyone with concerns should speak now." Commander Naomi Chen stepped forward. She had served with Xavier for over a decade, commanding the stealth cruiser Umbra. "The Senate Security Council will have our commissions for this," she said, though the glint in her eyes suggested she didn't particularly care. "Only if we fail," Xavier replied. "And if we succeed, they'll pretend they authorized it all along." Naomi smiled slightly. "Then we'd better not fail." Dr. Victor Lomont, head of Advanced Weapons Research, manipulated the holographic display with practiced gestures. The brilliant physicist had designed most of the Phantom Division's unconventional armaments. "The Kavek have never encountered our phase shift technology," he explained. "Their defensive systems analyze incoming threats based on conventional physics. Our weapons operate outside those parameters." "Will they work?" Lieutenant Aiden Torres asked. The tactical officer had never seen combat outside simulations, but his strategic brilliance had earned him a place in the Phantom Division. "They'll work," Victor confirmed, "and the graviton disruptors will neutralize their propulsion systems. But we need to get close." "That's where I come in," said Major Layla Sato. The Special Forces commander stood with arms crossed, her posture betraying years of combat experience. "My teams will deploy to the surface and extract as many colonists as possible while the Chavek are distracted by our ships." Xavier nodded. "This is a rescue mission first, a fight second. We get those people out." Across the installation, technicians prepared the 5 vessels of the Phantom Division. Created in secret after humanity's first disastrous contact with alien life, these ships existed in the shadows of Earth's official military. They carried experimental systems derived from recovered alien technology, weapons and defenses that violated 6 interstellar treaties. On the flagship Spectre, Xavier stared at Ilara Voss's image, studying her face. He had never met her, but he recognized the look of someone willing to die for their people. His aide approached with a data tablet. "Captain, this just came from Earth Command." Xavier read the order, his jaw tightening. "They're explicitly forbidding any military action in the Nova Haven system. What do we do?" Xavier handed back the tablet. "Seems our communication system is experiencing technical difficulties. We won't receive this message until we return." He turned to the bridge crew. "Prepare for departure." The 5 ships of the Phantom Division rose silently from their hidden docks beneath Europa's surface. They moved into Jupiter's shadow, then vanished as their void drives engage. The void drive was humanity's greatest secret, a propulsion system that bent space-time differently than conventional FTL technology, allowing the ships to travel faster than any known species. The journey to Nova Haven would take just under 20 hours instead of weeks. Inside the lead ship, Aiden Torres reviewed Kavek battle formations on his tactical display. They always fight the same way, he told the bridge crew. They surround their targets in concentric layers. It's effective, but predictable. If we can punch through at these points, he highlighted areas on the display, we can disrupt their entire formation. They've never lost a major engagement, Naomi reminded him over the comm. Neither have we, Aiden replied confidently. Major Layla Sutto prepared her special forces teams, checking equipment and reviewing the colony layout. We drop fast and quiet, she instructed. Colonists are our priority. No heroics. Dr. Victor moved between weapon stations, making final adjustments. Remember, the phase-shift weapons only work at close range. Make every shot count. In his quarters, Xavier recorded a message. If they failed, someone needed to know why they had gone. We do this not because these colonists are under Earth's protection, he said, his voice solemn. We do this because they are human, and humans protect their own. The Phantom Division slipped through the void between stars. 5 ships against an empire. On Nova Haven, Ilara Voss and her people retreated deeper into their underground shelters as Kavek warriors methodically swept through the ruined colony. Their scanners showed more enemy ships arriving each hour. Supreme Dominator Korvash broadcast his message across the colony. Your suffering is just beginning. Let the galaxy witness what becomes of those who defy the Kavek dominion. No one on Nova Haven slept that night. No one knew that salvation was racing through the darkness, breaking every rule to reach them in time. Shadows in the void. The walls of the underground shelter trembled as another Kavek bombardment struck the surface. Dust filtered down from the ceiling. Children whimpered while adults tried to comfort them with whispered assurances and brave faces. Commander Ilara Voss moved through the crowded space, checking on her people. The colony's main shelter now held over 1,500 civilians. The air grew staler by the hour. How much longer can we hold out? Dr. Sophia Reed asked, applying a dermacial to a young man's burn wound. The colony's medical supplies dwindled with each passing hour. Life support is at 37%, Daniel Ortega reported. The engineer had rigged emergency systems throughout the shelter network. Water recyclers are struggling. 2 days, maybe 3 at most. Ilara nodded grimly. She had expected worse. And our defense teams. Taking heavy losses, Marcus Chen said. The Kavek are pushing closer to the shelter entrances. It's only a matter of time. On the surface, the once beautiful colony lay in ruins. Kavek warriors moved through the streets, tall, 4-armed figures in Chidnus armor. Behind them came their salvage units, gathering human technology for study before final destruction. In what remained of the communications center, Ilara's team maintained the colony's last working sensor array, hidden beneath a collapsed building. Commander, I'm picking up Kavek communications, Marcus said when Ilara reached his position. They're talking about a special prisoner. Administrator Vaughn. Ilara's face hardened. Thomas Vaughn, the colony administrator, had disappeared shortly before the attack. Now they knew why. He betrayed us. They're bringing him to their command ship. I think they want him to help identify colony leaders and resistance pockets. How long until they find us? Hours, maybe less. Ilara looked at the tired faces around her. Move everyone deeper into the tunnel system. Seal the upper levels behind us. In the shelter, Daniel organized evacuation teams while Sophia prepared the wounded for transport. Children were moved first, guided by teachers and parents, through narrow maintenance tunnels. A small boy tugged at Ilara's sleeve. Are we going to die? He asked, his voice small but steady. Ilara knelt down. Not today, she said firmly. We're fighters, remember. The boy nodded, clutching a worn data tablet. What's your name? Ilara asked. Leo. Well, Leo, I need brave people right now. Can you help keep the other kids calm? The boy straightened his shoulders. Yes, Commander. Ilara watched him join the other children, wondering if she had just told him a lie. Would any of them survive the week? Outside the colony perimeter, Supreme Dominator Corvash observed the destruction from his command platform. The Kivek leader stood over 7 feet tall, his exoskeleton gleaming iridescent in the firelight. "Bring the traitor," he ordered. 2 warriors dragged Thomas Vaughn forward. The once proud administrator now looked broken, his face bruised and clothes torn. "Your people continue to resist," Corvash said, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the burning settlement. "Where are they hiding?" Vaughn kept his eyes on the ground. "I told you everything I know." "Not everything." "The underground network, how deep does it go?" Vaughn remained silent. "Your cooperation has been noted," Corvash said, "but my patience ends. Tell me about the shelters, or we begin using neuronic amplifiers on the prisoners we've already captured." Vaughn's shoulders slumped. "The main shelter connects to mining tunnels beneath the western ridge. There are 4 levels." Corvash nodded to his war commander. "Send teams to the western ridge. Find the access points." In the command shelter, alarms flashed as sensors detected movement above. "They found the western entrance," Marcus reported. "How?" Ilara demanded. "Someone told them." Daniel rushed in. "We've moved everyone to level 4, but we need more time." Ilara grabbed her pulse rifle. "Then we'll give them more time. Form a defense line at level 2. The colony's last fighters gathered, engineers, technicians, teachers, anyone who could hold a weapon. They moved to their positions as Kavek drilling equipment began to break through the upper levels. "Hold as long as you can," Ilara told them. "Every minute keeps our people alive a little longer." The first Kavek warriors breached level 1 as the defenders braced themselves. No one expected to survive. No one knew that salvation was less than 2 hours away, racing through the void between stars. The Phantom Division emerged at the edge of the Nova Haven system, immediately activating their stealth systems. The 5 ships vanished from conventional sensors, becoming shadows against the stars. On the bridge of the Spectre, Captain Xavier Reeves studied the tactical display with grim focus. The Kavek presence was even larger than expected. "Scan complete," Commander Naomi Chen reported from the Umbra. "We count 23 major warships, 35 cruisers, and approximately 70 support vessels. And us with just 5 ships," Xavier said quietly. "5 ships they don't know exist," Naomi reminded him. Intelligence officer Sarah Lynn joined them on the tactical channel. Her job was to understand the enemy. "Kavek have a hierarchical command structure. If we can neutralize their leadership, the rest will become disorganized." "Which one is the command vessel?" Xavier asked. Sarah highlighted a massive ship hovering directly above the colony. "That one. The Supreme Dominator will be aboard." Lieutenant Aiden Torres analyzed the enemy formation, his mind calculating distances and attack vectors. "They've arranged their ships in a standard encirclement pattern. They're not expecting any threat from space. Because they think no one would come," Xavier said. "How long until they detect us?" "If we maintain full stealth, they won't see us at all," Naomi answered. "But the moment we fire, they'll know we're here." Dr. Victor Lummond joined the channel, his eyes bright with nervous energy. "The phase shift weapons are ready, and I've recalibrated the graviton disruptors. They'll be more effective than in our simulations." Xavier nodded. "Good. What about the colony? Do we have contact?" "Negative," Aiden said. "Their communication systems are down, but we're picking up life signs beneath the surface. Most of the colonists appear to be in underground structures, and the Kavek ground forces. They're pushing into the underground levels. The colonists don't have much time." Xavier turned to Major Layla Sato. "Prepare your teams for immediate deployment. Your priority is evacuating civilians." Layla saluted. "My teams are ready, Captain. Just get us close enough to drop." Xavier faced his crew, his next orders about to start a battle with uncertain outcome. "This is what we're going to do. We'll split our forces. 3 ships will remain in stealth, positioning themselves at strategic points throughout the Kavak formation. The Spectre and Umbra will decloak and approach openly. "You want them to see us?" Naomi asked. "I want them to focus on us," Savior explained. "Two human ships appearing out of nowhere will get their attention. They'll assume we're alone and move to intercept. When they do, they'll leave gaps in their formation." Aiden studied the plan. "Those gaps will allow our stealth vessels to move into firing position." "Exactly," Savior said, "and give Layla's team a clear path to the surface." The bridge crews moved to their stations with purpose. Years of training was about to be tested in real combat. Savior opened a channel to all Phantom Division vessels. "This is Captain Reeves. In a few minutes, we will engage an enemy that believes itself invincible. They've never faced Earth's true military capabilities. They've never faced us." He paused. "Our mission is simple. Save our people. Show the Kavak and the galaxy that humanity is not to be underestimated. Phantom Division, prepare for battle." On Nova Haven, the situation had grown desperate. Kavak warriors pushed through the colony's underground defenses, level by level. Ilara's fighters retreated slowly, making the enemy pay for every meter. In space, the Phantom Division moved into position. On Savior's command, the Spectre and Umbra disengaged their stealth systems, appearing suddenly near the outer edge of the Kavak formation. The reaction was immediate. Kavak vessels turned toward the unexpected threat, weapons charging. Communications flooded the Kavak battle network as they attempted to identify the unknown ships. "They've spotted us," Naomi reported. 15 vessels breaking formation to intercept. "Hold position," Savior ordered. "Let them come to us." On the Kavak command ship, Supreme Dominator Korvash received the alert with surprise. "Human vessels. Here." He studied the sensor readings. Only 2 ships. They dared challenge the Dominion with such a paltry force. "They appear to be of unknown configuration," his war commander reported. "No match on our database." "It doesn't matter," Korvash dismissed. "Destroy them as an example. Continue the ground assault." As the Kavak warships moved to engage, they created exactly the gaps Savior had predicted. The 3 stealth vessels of the Phantom Division slipped through the openings, undetected. Closing to optimal range, Aiden reported as the Spectre held position against the approaching Kavak ships. "Enemy weapons charging." "All vessels," Savior said over the secure channel. "Execute planned shadowfall on my mark." The Kavak warships fired their first salvo. Energy weapons lanced through space toward the 2 human vessels. Mark. In that instant, the Phantom Division revealed humanity's true technological capabilities. The Spectre and Umbra activated their phase shift drives, the weapons fire passing harmlessly through them as they temporarily existed in a different state of matter. Simultaneously, the 3 stealth vessels decloaked at strategic points throughout the Kavak formation and fired their graviton disruptors. The weapons didn't target the ships directly. Instead, they distorted space itself around the Kavak vessels, disrupting their propulsion and weapon systems. Major Layla Sato led her Special Forces team from the deployment bay of the stealth vessel Wraith. "Drop pods ready." Launching in 3, 2, 1. 20 sleek drop pods shot toward Nova Haven's surface, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible to Kavak sensors. On the Kavak command ship, alarms blared as systems failed across the fleet. "What is happening?" Korvash demanded as his own vessel shuddered. "Report." "Multiple human vessels, appearing throughout our formation," his war commander stammered. "Our drives are failing. Weapons systems offline." "Impossible. How did they?" "Supreme Dominator. Small craft detected entering atmosphere, heading for the colony." Korvash's compound eyes widened. "A rescue operation." They came for the colonists. The concept seemed alien to him. Launch all warriors to the surface. No one escapes. But the Kavak were already fighting a losing battle. The Phantom Division's phase-shift missiles bypassed their defenses entirely, targeting propulsion and communication systems rather than attempting to destroy the ships outright. In the underground shelter, Ilara and her defenders prepared for their last stand at Level 3. The sounds of Kavek weapons grew closer. Suddenly, the ground shook with new impacts, different from the Kavek bombardment. "What was that?" Daniel asked. Before Ilara could answer, her communications device crackled to life. A voice came through, human and clear. "Nova Haven Colony, this is Major Layla Sato, Earth Special Forces. We are on the ground and moving to your position. Hold tight." Stunned silence fell over the defenders. "That's not possible," Marcus whispered. Ilara's hands trembled as she responded. "This is Commander Voss. We're at Level 3 of the Western Shelter Complex. We have wounded and civilians." "Understood, Commander. We're cutting through to you now. Prepare your people for immediate evacuation." Above them, Earth's Special Forces engaged the Kavek warriors with shocking effectiveness. Their combat suits incorporated the same phase-shift technology as the fleet's weapons, allowing them to momentarily shift out of normal space to avoid Kavek attacks before solidifying to return fire. Within 15 minutes, the 1st Special Forces team reached the shelter entrance, securing it against Kavek counterattacks. Major Sato herself reached Ilara. "Commander Voss, I'm Major Sato. We need to move quickly." Ilara stared at her, still processing the impossible reality of rescue. "How did you find us? How did you even get here?" Sato smiled slightly. "Let's just say Earth keeps some capabilities in reserve. Evacuation transports are inbound. We need to move your people topside in groups of 50. In orbit, the battle had turned decisively. The Kavek fleet, designed to overwhelm conventional forces with superior numbers, found themselves unable to target the phase-shifting human vessels. Their rigid command structure, now in disarray with their communications disrupted, couldn't adapt to the unexpected tactics. On the Spectre's bridge, Savior watched as the evacuation began. Status of the ground teams. "First wave of colonists is moving to extraction points," Aiden reported. Major Sato reports approximately 2,000 civilians to evacuate. "And the Kavek command ship?" "Still operational but isolated. Their fleet is in disarray." Savior nodded. "Open a channel to Supreme Dominator Korvash." When the connection established, Savior faced the Kavek leader. "This is Captain Savior Reeves of Earth's Phantom Division. Your attack on Nova Haven Colony ends now." Korvash's multifaceted eyes narrowed. "Who are you to make demands?" "This independent colony rejected Earth's protection. They are not yours to defend." "You misunderstand," Savior replied calmly. "They are human. That makes them ours. We're evacuating the colonists. If you interfere, we will respond with full force." "You think these tricks impress the Dominion. You have merely delayed." "We've uploaded our weapons specifications to your database," Savior interrupted. "Review them. Understand that what you've seen today is only a fraction of Earth's true capabilities. The next time you target humans, any humans, you won't face 5 ships. You'll face our entire fleet." On the surface, the evacuation continued with remarkable efficiency. Layla's teams had secured a kilometer-wide perimeter around the extraction zone, using portable shield generators to protect against Kavek attacks. Ilara stood beside Layla, watching as transport shuttles landed and departed in rapid succession, carrying colonists to safety. "I don't understand," Ilara said quietly. "Nova Haven left Earth. We declared independence. We rejected your protection." Layla checked her tactical display before answering. "Captain Reeves has a saying. Humans argue amongst ourselves. That's our right. But when outsiders threaten us, we stand as one." 6 hours later, the last shuttle departed Nova Haven's surface. Every surviving colonist minus 1,872 people had been evacuated. The Kavek forces, still struggling with disrupted communications and systems, could only watch as their prey escaped. The Phantom Division regrouped at the edge of the system, the rescued colonists distributed among their vessels and additional transports that had arrived from hidden forward bases. On the Spectre's bridge, Xavier finally allowed himself to relax slightly. Casualties: 7 wounded among our forces, none critical, Naomi reported. Approximately 200 colonists lost during the attack, before our arrival. Too many, Xavier said grimly, but it could have been all of them. Ilara stood beside him, still trying to process everything that had happened. The Kavek will come after you for this. After Earth. Let them try, Xavier replied. Today they learned that humanity is not as divided as they thought, and that we have teeth they never suspected. As the Phantom Division activated their void drives and disappeared into the darkness between stars, word of their victory was already spreading throughout human space, authorized or not. The message was clear: Earth protects its own. And in the shadows of the void, humanity's most feared fleet continued its watch, ready to answer when called, even when no one believed they would come.